Let's go ahead and do the meeting beginning ritual, everyone. 起立，面向佛堂，参加三鞠躬，一鞠躬，再鞠躬，三鞠躬，参加各位点传师一鞠躬，开班一鞠躬，请坐下。Please be seated.
Good morning or afternoon or evening to all of you wherever you are and whatever time zone you're in. It's a wonderful Sunday here in Indianapolis, and it's a great day once again to share in this process of learning and understanding the Tao teachings. Today's talk is a procedural talk on the offering ritual that we conduct. The daily rituals performed 3 times a day when one is in the presence of the shrine. That is both parts of the ritual. When when a person's at work or not where the shrine is, then there are other accommodations that are made to do the ritual, sometimes silently, sometimes together as a group without the presence of the physical shrine. And in fact, when we were in Taiwan, we did that fairly frequently because when the time came for the early afternoon ritual, we were typically on a tour bus headed for one temple or the other, and that precluded, obviously, having a physical shrine present. That notwithstanding, we're going to talk about this as though everyone has a shrine in their home of some description, because it simplifies the mechanics of the rituals significantly. And while it's not complex, it is a matter of some learning and understanding to get to the point where one can conduct the rituals effectively and smoothly. I had a great deal of assistance from Master William in compiling this particular presentation, and from Mingyuan Chen for helping with the procedures and the execution. She actually trained me on how to conduct the ritual when the shrine was installed, and has over time been a great resource and help to me in at least beginning to get the pronunciations correct and in understanding the hows and whys of conducting the rituals. And although it's been many years since this original presentation was put together, that help and assistance has guided and been helpful to me over the years. That's a good thing to have. When I talk about availing ourselves of the knowledge and wisdom of the ordained masters and the other masters in the temple who have this knowledge and understanding, and folks like Derek, it is for this reason that I talk about those things, because there is a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in those people that in the West we typically do not have, and having access to that is tremendous. We've described the physical shrine in some detail previously. However, there is a method for assembling the shrine, and this is it. The shrine has to be cleaned fairly frequently. We don't want 3 inches of dust growing on it. We don't want cobwebs all over it and that sort of thing. And so, in order to accomplish that, one carefully disassembles the shrine, cleans it, and reassembles it. Okay. There are, in the house shrines, at least the ones that I know of, there are 3 frames with the scrolls that are centered behind the altar table. That's the taller of the 2 tables. I have seen a couple of shrines that have, I believe it is 4 or 5 scrolls, and I'm not sure exactly why or how that's done. Master William's shrine is one of those, and I've I've not asked him about that in the past, but it's an implementation difference, and no matter how many scrolls there are, they're centered behind the altar table. The moonlight, which is the oil candle containing the character for Wu Ji, is centered at the center of the middle frame of the scrolls, right beneath the words Ming Ming Sangi. Okay? And then on the outer edges where the lamps are placed, the lamps are centered to the point where the frames between the outside and inside scrolls meet. And then the Buddha Maitreya is centered to the moonlight. Okay? So there is a geometric symmetry to the placement of the various objects on the altar table. If there is more than one Buddha on the altar table, such as in my shrine or Andy's, typically one will be the Bodhisattva Guanyin, and the other will be the Buddha Jigong. The Bodhisattva Guanyin is placed on the right side of the altar as you're facing it, and the Buddha Jigong is placed to the left. All of the figurines are placed in a straight line and at the same height. So if one of the figurines is shorter or taller than another, there are bases or stands made to even out the height differences. Okay, all of them in a nice straight line and centered up on the moonlight from right to left to the Buddha Jigong and Bodhisattva Guanyin. Okay. There are two offering plates to the right and the left of the Buddha Maitreya. And then there are 3 plates on the offering table that sit in front of the 5 lotus flower plates most days. And of course, this should go without saying, but you never know. All of the offerings that are placed on the offering table are vegetarian in nature, and they need to be items that will be used in the home so they won't be wasted. That's an important part of the conduct of the rituals. There are a number of teacups. There are is one for the Bodhisattva Guanyin, 1 for the Buddha Jigong, and 3 for the Buddha Maitreya. This conduct in solo practice, that is, one individual with a house shrine, such as myself, one person does the entire procedure. If there are more people present, then there will usually be more than one person presenting. Be that as it may, the teacups are arranged on the side table, ready to be placed on the offering table prior to the commencement of the ritual. Okay? And the way that that's done is that the teacup to the right of the Buddha Maitreya is placed first. It's picked up from the tray on the side table with the word I-Kuan, okay, and then is brought to the center kneeler of the shrine, and the word Wei is issued, which means to kneel, and you do so. Raise the cup to about eyebrow height and say Jumei Qi, and then place the teacup to the right of the Buddha Maitreya, saying Jumei Qi, which is to offer or to give or to place. Okay, the cup to the right of the Buddha Maitreya does not contain tea. It contains clear water. When the cup's placed, one says either silently or out loud, Shanqing is a reference to the clear water. And then Xin, which is to place or to set down the cup to the right of the Buddha Maitreya. The second cup, the procedure is the same. It goes to the left of the Buddha Maitreya. We'll skip the introductory part unless somebody's having trouble pronouncing it. when the cup is placed, the silent thought within, or the whispered thought, is cha zuo. It means that that the tea in the cup sinks down, and it has a much deeper meaning that we can go over in a few minutes. Both the clear water and the 2 cups with tea in them are used not only as tea, but as allegories for things that happen within the Tao. And as the cup is placed, one says Xian, which is, set down or place the cup to the left of the Buddha Maitreya. Okay. The 3rd cup is also tea. The same procedures invoked, the same introductory and offering statements when the cup is placed in front of the Buddha Maitreya. One says Qinjing Hong Qian, okay, or Mila Zushur, which is the name of the Buddha Maitreya. And then one says Xian, which is to place the cup. The cup is placed in the center of the Buddha Maitreya figurine on the altar table. Okay. With the other Buddhas, the offering of the tea is done in the same manner that the 3rd cup of the Buddha Maitreya is. All of the introductory phrases remain the same, and the cups are placed in the center of and in front of the respective Buddhas on the altar table, so that everything's nicely aligned and symmetrical. Okay. And there is one for the Bodhisattva Guanyin and one for the Buddha Jigong. In addition, if it is one of the days marked in red on the calendar, these are days that I believe correspond with certain events in the lunar calendar, certain moon phases, then there are additional offerings made on the offering table, and the arrangement of the offerings changes. There's also a difference in the presentation of the incense that we'll go over in a minute. As with the offering of the teacups, when the offering is brought forth from the side table, the person presenting the offering says Duan, and then brings it to the center kneeler and says Gui, to kneel, Jumei Chi, raise the plate to the eyebrows, and then approach the offering table, and with Jumei Chi and Xin, place the plate in its appropriate spot. And this is done for all 3 of the plates. When we're in one of the days marked in red on the calendar, the position of the 5 lotus flower plates and the 3 other plates changes, so that the 3 offering plates are behind the lotus flower plates. Okay. Here's the illustration that shows the appropriate layout. Okay. The 3 black circles here are the plain offering plates used to contain the fruit offering, and then the 5 lotus flower plates are the purple rings here in the center. Then, of course, in front of the center kneeler is the Bagua incense burner. Then we have joss sticks here, powdered sandalwood incense here, and the candles for yin and yang here. Okay. By the way, I can make this presentation available for folks if they want to download it or copy it. On the days that are not marked in red, that is all of the regular old days on the calendar, notice that the 5 lotus flower plates sit behind the 3 plain offering plates. On these days, these 3 plates contain some form of non-perishable vegetarian goods, okay, as do the 5 lotus flower plates. And all of these things are things that one would typically use in the home, so that when the period of the offering is over, they can be swapped out for other vegetarian goods in the home and then put to use. Okay, that's an important tenet of the conduct of the rituals, is not to create waste and want, particularly not within the sacred space, where waste and want does not need to exist. The position of the incense burners, joss sticks, and incense, and the candles in the front do not change no matter what day we're on. This is a diagram of the altar table showing the position of the offering plates, the Bodhisattva Guanyin and Buddha Qigong, the Buddha Maitreya, the Mu light, the two lamps, and then the teacups, Qinjing Chazuo, Qinjing Feng Shen, the Bodhisattva Guanyin, the Buddha Qigong. Okay? Let's see if we can advance this. There we go. Now, when this presentation was originally constructed, on the normal days of the calendar, 12 sticks of incense were offered, and I'll show that configuration here in a moment. And on the days marked in red, 30 sticks were bundled together, tied with red string, which is auspicious and a tenet of good fortune, and then burned in the center of the incense burner. Over the years, the leadership of the I-Kuan Tao has become somewhat sensitive to the use of 30 sticks of incense several times a month, and to the burning of 12 sticks 3 times a day on homes such as mine that don't have the square footage to absorb the volume of smoke that's produced. And since then have said that it is not necessary to burn all of the incense that's offered. In my own practice, I still burn the 12 sticks every day. I find the incense pleasing, relaxing. It smells really good. It's a type of incense that cannot be readily acquired in somebody's 5 and dime or drugstore. And the conduct of the ritual for me is an important thing to do. However, on the red days in the calendar, I cut back on the 30 sticks quite a bit, because 30 sticks of incense in my home is an awful lot of smoke. So that sensitivity was a great kindness by the leadership of the organization, and has done us all a lot of good. Bear that in mind if you are making your own offerings. Also, on the days where 30 sticks are offered, those are the days where there are fruit offerings made and more elaborate offerings made, and the position of the lotus flower plates and the 3 plain offering plates are reversed. Okay, pardon. This is a representation not of a bowling ball, but of the Bagua incense burner from the top down. The position of the practitioner is here in front of the altar table, or in front of the offering table. Okay. For Mingming Sangdi, in the conduct of the ritual, one says Mingming Sangdi Xin Xiang Wu Ju. It means to offer 5 sticks here, Wu Ju, and it's done with the first stick being placed here, the second, the third, the fourth, and the 5th. Okay? As each stick is presented, it's lifted to the eyebrows, and they're counted: Yi Xian, Cai Xian, San Xian, Si Xian, Wu Xian. And you should put about an inch worth of space, both horizontally and vertically, between the sticks, and try to stand them up nice and straight. I will mention here that this is this color of gray for a reason. There is a particular and very special type of pumice that is used. It's a volcanic rock that's been very, very finely particulated. It's very nearly dust that comprises the substrate for the incense in the Bagua incense burner. And prior to the presentation of the incense, in fact, prior to the conduct of the ritual, that rock, that pumice, needs to be smoothed. Ideally, it will be as smooth as glass. I will tell you, after many years of practice, that it takes a clear mind and a steady hand to smooth that dust like pumice. It is something that causes us to put our full, complete, and total concentration behind the task at hand. Because if we're thinking about something else as we smooth the sand, that stray errant thought will be revealed in the ripples that form behind it. It's a really cool exercise in stilling and clearing the mind if one wishes to engage in that. Next, we offer up sticks for the ordained masters. One says, "Ru Tian Xian Shang Xian Shang Sam yeah, that should be Sanju, I think. I think I have an extra word in here from way back when. San is 3. Shan Sang Wuju. That's an additional. Yeah, that is wrong. My apologies. There's been a typo in here for years. It should be Sanju. I'll correct this in the future for 3 sticks. Those 3 sticks are behind the 5th one for Ming Ming Sang Di here, the 2nd to the right, the 3rd to the left. And once again, each is raised to the eyebrows, Yi Xian, Zai Xian, San Xian, okay, in that manner. And you'll notice there is a pattern beginning to emerge here. Next, we have Zhao Juan Xian Shang Yi Ju. This is 1 stick. It goes behind stick number 1 and is presented in exactly the same way. And then we have the sticks for Shi Cun and Shi Mu. In the original etiquette and discipline, Shi Mu was referred to as the great mistress of I-Kuan Tao. That has since been corrected to, I believe, matriarch or like a reverend mother sort of connotation. There are several terms from the very early days of the I-Kuan Tao where the translations were done by people with the most honorable intents, but not the best English skills. And heavens, I understand that. My Chinese is terrible. Actually, it's worse than terrible. But you do the best you can, and that happened here. Shi Cun and Shi Mu were the last of the patriarch and matriarchs of I-Kuan Tao, and are highly regarded in our particular golden thread, the lineage that links our particular line of temples together. And so for them, 3 sticks of incense are offered. The phrase that's uttered is Shi Cun, Shi Mu, Xian Xiang Sanju, okay, and then as previously, Yi Xian, Sai Xian, San Qian, to present the incense. And that's the conduct of the ritual, okay, the offering ritual. This is 1/2 of the daily ritual. The other half is conducted after the offering ritual. But I kind of knew this was going to run me close to half an hour, so the daily ritual, being somewhat longer, is going to get handled over the next week or 2 as time permits. But please, because this is a procedural thing, a mechanical thing, an operational thing, if you have questions or if you'd like a copy of the presentation, if you're attempting to establish a little bit of sacred space in your home, or if you're considering becoming Tiansu, feel free to forward any questions you have to me. If I can answer them, I will. If I can't, I'll get a hold of Derek or Master William or someone else who can. And in the case where I can't, maybe we'll both learn something. So thank you all very much. I always appreciate these opportunities to share, and I hope this topic is creating the level of interest that Derek and I hope that it is. You know, this is a kind of a really neat tradition to be able to be a part of. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Let's go ahead and do the meeting closing ritual. 起立。 面向佛堂，持架3鞠躬，一鞠躬，再鞠躬，3鞠躬，持架各位点传是1鞠躬，结班1鞠躬。Okay, guys, we are done.